Listening Library presents In the Hand of the Goddess by Tamora Pierce. Read for you by Trini Alvarado. The Lady in the Forest. The copper-haired rider looked at the black sky and swore. The storm would be on her soon, and she was hours away from shelter. No matter what she did, she was going to have to spend the night out of doors. "I hate getting wet," Alanna of Trebon told her mare. "I don't like being cold either, and will probably be both." The horse whickered in reply, flicking her white tail. Alanna sighed and patted Moonlight's neck. She also didn't like exposing her faithful mare to such conditions. They were on the last leg of an errand in the coastal hills. A forest lay before them. Beyond it was the great road south and a half a day's ride to the capital city and home. Alanna shook her head. They could probably find shelter somewhere under the trees, if luck was with them. Clucking to Moonlight, she picked up their pace. In the distance, thunder rolled, and a few drops of rain blew into her face. She shivered and swore again. Checking to make sure the scroll she carried was safe in its waterproof wrapping and tucked between her tunic and shirt, Alanna shrugged into a hooded cloak. Her friend Miles of Olau would be very upset if the 300-year-old document she had been sent to fetch got wet. Moonlight carried her under the trees, where Alanna peered through the growing darkness. If they rode too much longer, it would be impossible to find dry firewood even in a forest this thick. The rain was falling now in fat drops. It would be nice if she could find an abandoned hut or even an occupied one, but she knew better than to expect that. Something hit the back of her gloved hand with a wet smack. A huge hairy wood spider. Alanna yelled and threw the thing off her, startling Moonlight. The gold mare pranced nervously until her mistress got her under control once more. For a moment, Alanna sat and shook, huddled into her cloak. "I hate spiders," she thought passionately. "I just loathe spiders." She shook her head in disgust and gathered the reins in still trembling hands. Her fellow squires at the palace would laugh if they knew she feared spiders. They'd say she was behaving like a girl, not knowing she was a girl. "What do they know about girls anyway?" she asked Moonlight as they moved on. "Maids at the palace handle snakes and kill spiders without acting silly. Why do boys say someone acts like a girl as if it were an insult?" Alanna shook her head, smiling a little. In the 3 years she had been disguised as a boy, she had learned that boys know girls as little as girls know boys. It didn't make sense. People are people, after all, she thought. But that was how things were. A hill rose sharply to the left of the road. Crowning it was an old willow tree thick with branches. It would take hours for the rain to soak through onto the ground under that tree, if it soaked through at all, and there was room between the limbs and trunk for both Alanna and Moonlight. Within moments she had Moonlight unsaddled and covered with a blanket. The mare fed on grass under the tree as Alanna gathered dry sticks, branches, and leaves. With some struggle and much swearing, her first teacher in woodcraft, Coram, was a soldier, and she had learned plenty of colorful language from him. She got a fire going. When it was burning well, she gathered large branches that were a little wet, putting them beside the fire to dry. Coram had taught her all this when she was a child at Trebon, planning to be a warrior maiden when she grew up. There was only one problem with her ambition, Coram had explained when she told him what she wanted to be. The last warrior maiden had died 100 years ago. Nobly born girls went to convent schools and became ladies. Boys became warriors, particularly their father's heirs, like Alanna's twin brother Tom, who was often reading, generally books about sorcery. Tom was no warrior, just as Alanna, who had the gift of magic as well as he did, was no sorceress. She hated and feared her magic. Tom wanted to be the greatest sorcerer living. Alanna frowned and took food from her saddlebags. She didn't want to think about Tom now, when she was tired and a little lonely. She sneezed twice and looked up, sharply scanning the clearing beyond the screen of willow branches. When supernatural things were about to happen, her nose itched. She didn't know why. And now the feel of the clearing had changed. Quickly, she shoved the cloak back, freeing her arm.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?